2023 School Board Meeting. Please stand for a moment of silence, followed by the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Tonight we'll have two presentations. First presentation will be from the FFA, Ms. Kaylee Jenkins.
Good evening. I'm Kaylee Jenkins. I am the FFA advisor and the ag teacher at Madison County High School. We returned late Saturday night from National FFA Convention and Expo in Indianapolis, where we were awarded the National Chapter Award for a 2-star chapter. This is the first time that it's happened since 1993. So that was an accomplishment, and they were able to go across stage and represent us. We also had 4 members that received their American degree, which is the highest degree that the FFA can bestow on them. And just so you have an idea of what those students have to do to reach that, I'm going to read the qualifications. To be eligible, they must have earned at least $10,000 or earned $2,000 and worked at least 2,200 hours outside of class time through an SAE program in which they own as a business, a professional position as employee, or conduct research. Participants must also complete 50 hours of community service, demonstrate outstanding leadership abilities and civic involvement through completion of a long list of FFA and community service activities. Less than 1% of FFA membership ever achieves this degree. While we were there, we were able to not only attend sessions, but listen to motivational speakers. We went through the expo, which is filled with exhibitors of businesses and colleges that they can able to interact with and learn from, as well as a shopping expo. So we had our American degree recipients join us as well in the week, and they have a few words that they would like to say as well.
Good evening, my name is Caleb Rains. I currently serve as the MCHS FFA president. Starting off, I just want to say a huge thank you to y'all for allowing us to have the opportunity to go to the National Convention and Expo. It was a great experience. We thank Ms. Kaylee for being able to take us to. It was absolutely awesome. It was nothing compared to state, which we love state too, but nationals was something else. Seeing all the nation there, I mean, it was amazing. We had the opportunity to network with future employers, all the way from Bayer's science and colleges such as the University of Florida. I mean, it was absolutely amazing. We had the option to go to all the different expo booths and all. We got to see AGCO and many more. I mean, and as Miss Kaylee said, we represented Madison County with the National Chapter Award. Me and my vice president was able to walk across that stage in front of 71,000 members of the FFA. I mean, it was incredible. That was not only an honor, but it was also just amazing to show off that our hard work and everything that we pour into our community. It was amazing, and we thank you.
Good evening. My name is Leah Singletary, and as he said, I'm the vice president. With y'all letting us be able to go, we got to go meet more FFA friends and got to share our SAEs with each other and get to explore around all the nations and see everybody and how much FFA impacts our life. And we really enjoyed being able to go and have fun and learn some more about FFA.
Thank you very much for coming tonight.
Congratulations.
I'd like to get their picture if I could.
Yes, ma'am. Where do you want us to stand at?
Let's see.
Want to do one with the board, or what you want?
Yeah, with the board.
Yeah.
Do it with the board. Just come up to the front. I'm sure your parents would appreciate it.
Stand right in front of that.
Yeah, just right in front.
I get to still sit there.
Say, we can actually look at that version.
No,
Yeah.
okay, fine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
y'all so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
I went to state, and what we used to call the future homemakers of America.
Yeah.
And I went to state, and I had to do a speech with state. And then there's that girl
over in Jefferson County named Massey. She went on to become a teacher, and she beat me out. I came in second.
You did good.
We retained the state.
Thank you very much for coming tonight. We appreciate it, and we especially appreciate our teacher, Miss Kaylee Jenkins. Because without you, it wouldn't happen.
Thank you.
Without teachers like as yourself, it wouldn't happen. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Our next presentation will be Pinetta Elementary School. Miss Yolanda Davis.
Ms. Davis.
Thank you. You gave our attorney one?
Thank you.
Don't worry about it.
So I'm going to do just a quick overview of Pinetta Elementary School. The overview of Pinetta Elementary School, it has always been a high-performing school. However, over the years, enrollment has declined as well as the school grade has been up and down. Currently, Pinetta is a D school until school grades come out again. This is the Pinetta faculty and staff. Our current enrollment is 131 students, and we have a breakdown of how many is in each grade level. Our ESC population, we have 15 students with IEPs, 17 with 504s. And our areas of focus. So according to our school improvement plan, we had to have 2 areas of focus. So one of our areas of focus was to increase our 5th grade mathematics by 10% and to decrease discipline by 10%. So our area of focus for math. So based on our 22 and 23 end of the year FAST data, our 5th graders last year, they scored at 45%. That was a 1% increase from the previous year. So what we're going to do is to help increase the area, we're going to monitor our FAST quarterly. Every time we look at the FAST, we're going to look at areas that we need to work on. We give our students the monthly STAR assessment. We do exact path. We have reflex math. We do Savage math interventions. We have win time. It's in their lesson plans. We do PLCs. First and third Tuesdays. We have weekly common planning on Wednesdays. We have tutors and parents who work with our students in math and ELA. So to decrease our discipline, well, when I first got there, they only had 22 referrals, and then the last year we had 34 referrals, which was an increase. But out of those referrals, 21 of those referrals result in only 4 students. But we still had that as an area of focus. So what we put in place was we have a PBIS program where kids get to do monthly awards and then they get incentives. We have a PBIS team. We have the Brave Buck store. Kids get to go to the store once a month. We have our DARE lessons by the SRO, and then our SRO go in and do lessons with the kids. We have the district character lessons that our teachers do with the students. They put those in their lesson plans. And then we communicate with our parents through Blooms, and we let them know everything that's going on in school, and then our monthly activities. So if our kids do a really good job and they earn their percentage on Blooms, we do a monthly positive behavior activity for them. Like they have like a treat. So if you make 75%, last month we did a monster mash way. Like the last 30 minutes, they get to come there. We blacked out the cafeteria, and then they dressed up in their costumes, and then we let them dance. So right now, we took the FAST back in August. This is what our school is currently at. We have 37% that are in the red, and that's for our ELA, and 50% or 77% in the red. So when we take the test again in January, we should see some of that red decrease. The reason why the red is so large is because a lot of the stuff that the kids took the test on are standards that have not been taught yet. So we will take the test again in December. Again, our numbers will look totally different.
Yes, we expect that to be much red in the beginning of the year.
Yes, ma'am. We took our beginning of this year's science test, and right now we scored at 13% proficiency. However, we met with Ms. Vaughn, and what she do is she, according to the pacing guide, she create assessments for our teachers so that the kids can take an assessment to see how well they're doing on the standards that the teacher has covered. And so we should see our science scores go up as well. So right now, PS is working hard to achieve our goals, and so Go to the next slide. So we are one school, one team, making a difference. If you can look, we have a lot of activities that we have put in place. Like we had our students in the parade. Last week, we had McTeacher Night where we teamed up with McDonald's, where I worked the drive-through. We've had Family Night where all the schools came out. We fed all the schools. Each school spent money, and we fed the parents. We had Character Night. We did Animal to Kindness Day. We had Johnny Appleseed. We have the fire department. They come out. So we have a lot of activities that we do at Pinetta and that we do with our students. So are there any questions or concerns?
I don't have any, thank you.
Thank you.
Could you explain what you do every day in a classroom?
So every day, just about every day if I don't have a meeting, so what I do is, I insert myself in what we call win time. So I go into the classroom every single day and I work with, second and third grade, Miss Willoughby. And I have a group, I do the tier 2 kids and ELA. And so they come to my group every single day unless I have principal meeting or there's just something that has my day going. But other than that, I do the, reading interventions with the kids.
So you are a teacher in the classroom?
She is.
Yes, ma'am, I go in the classroom work, yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for doing that.
Well, I do
Yes,
that.
ma'am.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Last year, how many fifth graders did you have?
Last year, fifth graders, we had, which is our sixth grade now, we had, I want to say maybe 12 or 13.
And
But
there's
we end
nine.
up, now our sixth grade group was our largest group, and they left and they went to Central, so our
Right.
fifth graders moved up. And so we lost about 3 of those, because some of them were ranch kids, and they were able to go back home.
I got you. Okay.
So that's why that number is so small. Any more questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. We appreciate what you do.
Thank you, Ms. Davis.
We have some amendments to the agenda tonight. Number 1, at the calendar, add November 10th as a makeup day. We'll put that at 5.8 under items for individual consideration.
Okay, 5 point.
5.8, under individual.
It's already
It's
5.8.
for school improvement.
It's a 5.8.
Oh, well, sorry.
5.9.
Make that 5.9.
And it's, what is it?
Calendar add November 10th as a makeup day
Okay.
for employees who did not report to work on September 5th. All right, that's 5.9. Number 2, a contract with Division of Administrative Hearings. We'll put that under items for individual consideration, 5.10. Number 3, vehicle grant. We'll put that under items under individual consideration, 5.11. Number 4, FEMA contract, FEMA consultant bid award. Put that under 5.12. Put it under individual consideration, 5.12.
Thank you.
Do we have a motion to adopt the agenda tonight?
I move we adopt the agenda.
We have a motion by Mr. Carroll, second.
A second.
Second by Ms. Thompson. All in favor, raise your hand. Becky, 5-0. Comments from the public? Mr. Murphy? If you'll come forward, please.
What's his first name?
Murphy.
What's his first name?
Tim.
Tim Murphy. Okay.
I put on that sheet, I didn't have any subject,
Oh, you didn't want to comment?
no, I'm just an interested taxpayer.
Oh, okay,
Looking
that's
to
fine.
see how you folks,
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. You don't have to comment. I thought you wanted to comment.
no, I'm sorry,
Oh,
I just drew a line there.
oh, okay.
Sorry.
Thank you for being here.
Well, thank you for
Thanks for
coming. That's fine. Ms. Kaylee Jenkins?
No,
Or was that already?
That was the FFA.
That was, okay, just, all right, those, okay, very good. All right. Okay. Consent agenda items. 4.1 minutes, 4.2 articulation agreements with FAMU, 4.3 Madison County High School basketball schedule, updated, 4.4 Small School District Council Consortium participation resolution, 4.5 fundraisers. Do we have a motion to accept the consent agenda items?
Madam Chair, I make the motion to approve the consent agenda items.
We have a motion by Ms. Thompson, second.
Second.
Second by Ms. Hagan. Any discussion? All those in favor, raise your hand. Becky, 5-0. Items for individual consideration. 5.1 personnel changes. Mr. Killingsworth?
Good evening.
Good evening.
This evening, we have three non-instructional recommendations that we'd like to bring before you. Two are our bus drivers, Mr. Bernie and Ms. Farah, and one is Ms. Graham, which is with food service. And we also have one employee requesting leave of absence for the pretty much the remainder of the year.
Mr. Killingsworth, with Ms. Rasmussen, the effective date should be 24.
Yes, ma'am. Correct. Through 5/30, end of May.
Is that it?
For the personnel, now we have substitute that we've got two different parts, and we have one that we're requesting for our regular schools. And then we have another section that is for Waypoint, which has 6 names there. And then we also have one substitute within the transportation that I'm requesting, or that we're requesting.
Any questions for Mr. Killingsworth? Do we have a motion to approve the personnel changes?
I move to approve the personnel changes.
We have a motion by Mr. Carroll, second.
I second.
Second by Ms. Knight. All those in favor, raise your hand. Becky, 5-0. 5.2, request for additional contract hours. Mr. Killingsworth?
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Jones has asked that we have for adult ed, Ms. Fletcher be granted 56 additional hours for the GED program, to help with our GED program.
Okay, now, when you say additional hours, you mean the hours that she's already,
Beyond her normal, this is outside her normal day.
this is outside of her regular?
Yeah, they typically do in the
Right.
afternoon. And
Okay,
Why are these hours being requested?
because the students that are, or the young adults that are down there, she basically would work with those that are in reading, in the English department. Ms. Fletcher, Ms. Wire, Ms. Sheridan, she typically works with the math and science part of that. This is for our GD program down.
I understand, but
Okay.
I'm not understanding what you're saying.
She is down there helping part, or requesting to help part of that program.
Oh, okay,
And
that's
Ms.
what I was
Fletcher,
looking
they're
for.
kind of tag teaming,
Mm-hmm,
is what
okay.
I guess would be a better way to say it.
okay.
Any other questions for Mr. Killingsworth?
So this is just a one-time 56 additional hours, like?
As it
one- a
stands right
one-time
now.
request?
Yes, ma'am.
Do we have a motion to approve the request for additional contract hours?
I move to approve the request for the additional contract hours.
We have a motion by Mr. Carroll, second.
Second.
Second by Ms. Hagan. Any discussion? All those in favor, raise your hand. Becky, 5-0. 5.3 volunteers, Mr. Killingsworth?
Yes, ma'am, there are 17 names that we have, that we're putting before y'all this evening, along with the various schools that they're requesting to volunteer in, as well as what type of event or events. Some are multiple schools.
Any questions for Mr. Killingsworth? Do we have a motion to approve the volunteers?
Madam Chair, I move to approve volunteers.
We have a motion by Ms. Thompson, second.
Second.
Second by Ms. Hagan. Any discussion? All those in favor, raise your hand. Becky, 5-0. 5.4, request for tutoring at Madison County Central, Greenville Elementary, and Pinetta Elementary. Mr. Killingsworth?
Yes, ma'am. The three schools, of course, were involved with the state in those, and part of that is that they set aside some funding so that they're able to do tutoring at those sites, and we're basically requesting that opportunity for them to do that. As we get them, we'll bring the names and the dates as to each school, such as what we have here for Central.
So that's for
So we
Monday.
don't have anybody for Greenville and,
They are working on that now.
They're waiting on that.
Both are working on that to get, but we're trying to get your approval to do it. Of course, this is not out of general fund, so they can only use the money that's set aside for that, and there's some check and balances to make sure that doesn't exceed.
So this will be on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, from 3 until 5?
For Madison County Central School, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Any other questions for Mr.?
Wait a minute, I'm not
Oh,
finished.
okay.
So this is only for the central schools.
Yes, ma'am.
Did these people know that we had a time limit for them to do the request for Pinetta and Greenville Elementary School?
Yes, ma'am.
We've asked them since the beginning of the year, for names.
Okay. Well, we can't punish the children, but then maybe you should talk to your staff.
Any other concerns? Do we have a motion to approve the request for tutoring at Madison County Central, Greenville, and Pinetta?
I move we approve the request for the tutoring at Madison Central, Greenville, and Pinetta.
We have a motion by Mr. Carroll, second.
A second.
Second by Ms. Knight. Any discussion? All those in favor, raise your hand. Becky, 5-0. Thank you, Mr. Killingsworth.
ma'am.
Thank you.
We'll remove 5.5, the staffing allocation plan. 5.6, public hearing. We will open this up at this time regarding the student progression plan. Ms. Hill?
I'm available to answer any
Available for-
questions. I presented a couple of meetings ago before we started advertising. The changes are all statutory changes that came through the legislature, and we're just trying to update the student progression plan to match state requirements.
Thank you for that information.
And we'll still have a lot of them coming because they come unexpected now. So we'll be doing this for quite a while.
Okay, at this point, we'll close the public hearing. Thank you. 5.7, field trips, Ms. Joseph?
We have to take a vote.
Wait a minute.
Do we have a motion to approve the student progression plan?
Madam Chair, I move to approve the student progression plan.
We have a motion by Ms. Knight, second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Carroll. Any discussion? All those in favor, raise your hand. Becky, 5-0. 5.7, field trips, Ms. Joseph?
Okay, field trips, we have a request for a field trip from Madison County High School High Tech Club on November 9th to the Swanee Valley Animal Shelter, Nestle Water, bottled water plant. And we have a field trip from the Hosher Club at Madison County High School, and they're going to TMH in Tallahassee, Florida on December 1st. And that group attached their member list.
Yeah, I have it recommended.
And so those are the only two field trips, student field trips we have this time.
Thank you, Ms. Joseph. Do we have a motion to approve the field trips?
I move to approve the field trips.
We have a motion by Mr. Carroll, second.
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Thompson. Any discussion? All those in favor, raise your hand. Becky, 5-0. .8, school improvement plans, Ms. Thomas?
Good evening, Board. I'm going to ask Ms. Davis to go ahead and come on up. The school improvement plans do have to be approved by the board for any of our schools that are BSI schools. As Mr. Killingsworth mentioned earlier, Pinetta, Madison County Central, and also Greenville Elementary are our BSI schools. She has already presented during the presentation the information that's covered in the school improvement plan. However, if you look on the page, your page that says indicators at the top, it says the table below of students by current level, considering their early warning indicators. This is where their schools started off at the beginning of the year. Early warning indicators look at statistical information based on the students to determine if students are struggling, if students need additional help and different types of interventions. So they look at the attendance for students, the number of suspensions, course failures in math and ELA. They also look at their previous year state assessments. So you can see in the chart where Pinetta stands, and it's by grade level. If you have any questions, let me know and I will be sure to answer them rather.
She's looking on page 8.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, mine's not numbered. My page is a number.
I've got a question, and I don't know if anyone else thought about it, but I don't understand something. Maybe I'm missing something. And I did discuss this with Mrs. Hill, but I'd like to maybe clarify it for those who don't understand. Why are there so, for instance, Central, I'll take that, but this could apply to any school. Why are there so few labeled as deficient, but the ELA is below 29%?
So in order for the student to be considered as deficiency, they have to be, correct me if I'm wrong, Ms. Hill, 2 grade levels below?
Which is like a level 1.
Right.
The level 1. And you mentioned that you have many level 2s, which I guess this enters into it all too.
Right,
Level
but
2.
the level 2s wouldn't actually count as the deficiency. Do you see what I'm saying? So that's why you would have a larger number of students where it's showing they might not be proficient, but if they're not a level 1, then they wouldn't be counted in that deficiency.
Okay.
And it's only the tested grade levels, even though first grade and second grade is part of the student population, that data's not included in these.
Okay.
Okay, and if you would go over to the subgroup, the ESSA subgroup data review, this data comes to us pre-populated by the state. And this data is important for schools because it lets schools know which subgroups within their school need additional help. So the administrators and the schools are supposed to hone in on those individual groups and come up with plans to try to get them the assistance they need. So you can see here for Pinetta, students with disabilities and their Black students and their free and reduced lunch students were all a part of their 2021-22 ESSA subgroups.
I have another concern. Okay, what law do we have to address this absenteeism? I know at the high school, I know what the repercussion is there, taking their driver's license away. What is the repercussion in the elementary grades? How can we attack this high absentee?
So we have a truancy procedures and policies in place. And after so many absences, of course, the parents are notified, and they're notified by mail, of course, in writing about the need for attendance. If the attendance issue is still significant, they usually send Nick Gonzalez out to the house just to try to make sure, if the students are found at home, let them know, hey, they need to come back to school. Sometimes there are issues, and those things can be troubleshooted if, he goes out to the residents. If it continues, it'll eventually go to court, and at that point, it's up to the judge. There's nothing that the school can do after it's made it to the judge. So it just depends on really, what the judge wants to do.
Now, what point does it go to the court?
Is that the 10th?
Are we doing this?
Well, it's difficult.
Not very many
Yeah.
judges will allow truancy to.
Prosecution, yeah.
Okay.
We have a meeting this week with someone from the Department of Juvenile Justice to see if there's something they could do to help us.
Okay, good. Because the children are the ones that are suffering because they can't, they're not responsible.
But we're doing preventive, not lock them up and throw away the key.
Right.
Well, no, you wouldn't let the kids off of that.
Oh, but you don't know, they're sent them to juvenile centers and things too. And then just for absenteeism, they've not committed a crime.
Now, getting back to the high school, are we doing this with the driver's license?
Yes, ma'am.
Because I know we were when I was at the high school.
We are
They can lose their
reporting it
license.
to the Department of Highway Safety. We also report to Learn Fair, which is a public assistance program that requires the parents to send their children to school. We report that.
Okay.
And, we've tried working with DCF, but DCF says they're too overwhelmed to mess with truancy. And so we've not gotten a lot of support. But I'm hoping by going the route of DJJ and working on the prevention end, that we're going to see some traction.
And then,
Okay.
we shouldn't really be punishing these children. They're the parents. And judges and things are not. These children can't get to school, especially these elementary and the primary school children. It's the parents that we should be looking at. And we should be, and the legislators has to put something in place about the parents. We as a school can't mandate that.
Well, that's true. But we speak to the legislators and nothing seems to become good.
Because that's not a big item for them.
No, evidently it's not. Because I have spoken to them, and other school board members in the past have spoken to them, but we are where we are.
And it is a concern, but most of our schools, when students are absent, they have staff to call home.
Yes.
And, that is very helpful. So we do get a lot of students coming to school, even if they come late. A lot of them attend because of the, just the strategy put in place by the school. So that's good.
Well, thank you.
We're doing our part.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Is 16 still the age limit where
Compulsory education.
they can?
Yeah, students are required to go to school up to the age of 16. And at age 16, their parent can withdraw them from school.
But if they don't withdraw them, then it still goes to everything with the license and all that stuff. Oh, I got you. Okay.
Okay. And the next couple of pages, you will find the state assessment data. I will not review that since we've already had a review of the data for all of the schools. The next important parts are the the school improvement goals. So what the schools plan to do concerning their position and their data. Ms. Davis has already told you guys their areas of improvement. They are targeting, of course, their discipline to get those referrals down. She's already told you all what strategies they're going to use. And then also they're trying to improve their math scores. That is it for Pinetta Elementary.
We need to be mindful too, when we start cracking down on these students so hard, we have homeschooling. And these people will be withdrawing their students from our schools. And then what the legislators are saying, that they're paying these parents now to homeschool their children.
Right.
So we gotta look at it both ways.
That's true. All right, thank you. And up next, I'll ask Miss Amanda Brown to come up. She is the principal at Madison County Central School, and she has come tonight. And we will go through the school improvement plan for Madison County Central School. If you will look at, I think Ms. Joseph said that was on page 8 at their early warning indicators, and you can see, as stated earlier, this is looking at the student attendance, it's looking at the number of suspensions and failures in math and ELA, and also the reading deficiency. Also looks at the number of students that were retained, whether they had multiple retentions or one-year retentions. And the administration and, of course, the school as a whole worked specifically to look at these numbers and look at these students to try to put interventions in place, to whether it's to help with absenteeism. And I know Central, you guys do the same thing, you call home to try to get the students there. And also, they also have tutors during the day as far as implementing interventions and stuff to try to get the ELA and the math scores up. Any questions on that
We'll
part?
start our after-school tutoring since you just approved it, so we'll be able to start that.
Say that again, please.
We'll be able to start our after-school tutoring, now that it's been approved, we'll be able to start that as well.
Okay.
So we have about 95 students already, that the parents are wanting them to come to our tutoring.
That's good.
That's good.
Because those papers went out some time ago, didn't they?
Yes.
For approval.
I was trying to get the interest, to see how much interest there would be, to know how many staff
If you'll
members.
speak,
Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
because the people at home want to.
Sorry, I would, I sent the interest letters out just to get a number of students to see how many staff members we would need.
So you're not disappointed?
Yeah, ma'am. The more the merrier.
So, is the parents responsible for getting them home, or is there gonna be a bus?
No, sir, there'll be the community bus drop, and so that is a huge help.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Any more questions?
I don't have any more. Thank you.
Okay, so, as I said earlier, we'll go ahead and, go to the subgroup area for Madison County Central School. Their ESSA subgroups are students with disabilities, Black students, and, free and reduced lunch students. And once again, the schools are targeting these specific subgroups to try and see what they can do to bring students up, in the areas of ELA and mathematics.
Our students with disabilities group, they've scored below the 41st percentile for 3 consecutive years. So we're really trying to target and really work with those students to see what the issue is and to make sure they're having that exposure to the benchmarks and the grade level standards. This year, one of my new assistant principals, Miss Lundy, Ashley Lundy, that's her wheelhouse, and she's worked really hard at almost 100% of our students with disabilities in our self-contained classrooms are being pushed out into gen ed classrooms, and that is working very well. So they're with their age group peers, and they're getting, like I said, the exposure to those academic standards at their grade level. We've worked, she's already done professional development with the teachers and the paras who work in those classrooms to make sure that we're utilizing the paras to the best, what they need to be doing, and they're not just an extra set of eyes in a classroom, but they're truly working with students, which last year our paras with our team time, they were already doing small groups, and it's just beautiful to walk in a classroom and see that happening. Sometimes you can walk in a classroom and see 5 reading groups going at a time and working with various levels of students. So Ms. Lundy's already, started working with our paras and our teachers just to really get the most benefit from having that many sets of hands in with our students.
And as I said earlier, I won't go over the data. We've already did the data presentation for each school. However, as far as the areas of focus, one of the goals for Madison County Central School is to increase the proficiency scores for both math and ELA by 25% for each grade level by the 3rd FAST assessment, which will be in May. And they plan to do this by, of course, some of the things that Ms. Brown just mentioned. Also, progress learning assessments and STAR assessments. They'll be doing monthly STAR assessments to help them track where students are, but the STAR assessment also lets them know what skills they're missing. So that's really helpful for teachers to be able to find the gaps and be able to move students forward. They also are doing instructional focus boards in which the teachers are making their instructional boards interactive with the students, making sure students understand what they're supposed to learn and understand the target of that particular lesson in, whatever day of the week it is. They also have some other intervention pieces. Youth Fly is one that's for grades kindergarten through 3. As she said, it's done in small group, so it's a really direct, targeted type of instruction, and it's outside of their normal reading curriculum, which is a requirement when it comes to having intervention pieces. Also, LLI, that's another small group when she was mentioning having 5 groups of reading at one time. That's what she's referring to. So students are only grouped by like 3, 4, maximum 5 students in a group. FCRR interventions, and then also practice guides for math grades, for ELA and math.
The U-Fly program that we're using is a phonics program from the University of Florida, and it's geared towards K through 2 is using it for their Tier 1 instruction for the whole group. And then what they're doing is to use that as an intervention. If, let's say, the 2nd grade student may be on a kindergarten reading level, then that group of students during their team time and for interventions, the para or the teacher, whoever has that group, is actually going back into the earlier lessons and really getting those letter recognitions, sound recognitions. And so that's how they're using that as interventions. We actually have some 6th grade classes who have reading groups that are using U-Fly. Because if you dig down in the data and go back into STAR, and even back when it was iReady and FAST, the root issue of our kids' problems is phonics. And so it doesn't matter if you're a kindergartner or a 6th grader, if you don't have phonics, you can't attack the words. And we know that as they get older, those scientific words and the words they're seeing in all their passages at 5th, 6th, 7th grade level, they've got to know how to attack them and know what to do with them. So they're doing that. We're also doing morpheme magic, which is also another intervention that we're using to work with words.
I've discussed this with Ms. Hill. I think it was the U-Fly, the phonics. But now, does this tell me that they have not been teaching phonics throughout the years?
No, it's not all students. It wouldn't be all students that have that.
No, we used a different phonics program. We used Saxon Phonics. But this new phonics program has more research behind it. And we're seeing, it was encouraged to us by DOE. And we are seeing much progress.
That's good. But my other thing, interventions, are these interventions that you did last year, or are these new interventions for this year?
So they started the U-Fly last year.
Okay.
And also,
What I'm trying to say is, what is different this year? How are you addressing this reading problem differently this year?
So U-Fly was introduced to us at the beginning of last year, but it was a very slow start to it, to get the materials, to get the training. So I would say that it was not being utilized fully until after second semester had already started. So the students, the classes and the students that even got a little piece of that last year, we saw tremendous growth there. So now that it's been implemented, day 1, they all have a calendar, a pacing calendar they follow. When our state regional literacy director, Mr. Watkins, comes, he checks every month to see, and Ms. Paula Kaufman also, are they on their schedule, are they on their pace? And they can tell you exactly what lesson and everything, that they're on.
Another question though, prior to U-Fly, what were they using for phonics?
So there are, the textbook comes with.
It was incorporated in the textbook.
It was incorporated.
Because this is an additional program.
Right. This is much deeper.
Okay.
Very systematic, scripted.
Right.
So it's great because even anyone can follow it,
now
parents,
that-
volunteers.
it's
It's
a new
very
program.
scripted.
I-
It's a new program, so that's why in the beginning, and now that you are trained on it, you are implementing that.
Yes.
And seeing it grow.
And I think scripted is a good word to
Right.
use, because
Yes.
especially when you have a turnover of teachers, and some of them aren't really teachers, so they have to have
Right.
something in black and white to use.
Right.
So that's good, okay.
And this program is wonderful too, if you ever have time, if you want to YouTube a lesson. All of the lessons are on YouTube, so you can actually see teachers teaching it. And that's a good
That's
way
good.
for professional development for our teachers as well.
Okay, thank you.
Another goal that Madison County Central School has this year is to improve their attendance. We were just talking about it earlier. They noted that 49% of their students had an attendance below 90%. And so their goal is by the end of 2024, they want to lower the percentage of students that have an attendance lower than 90%, from 49% of students down to 25. They have a lot of strategies in place. First of all, obviously calling home, but then they also have attendance occurring in their PLC agendas. And PLC is when the teachers get together and they meet and they discuss students that are not in school. That'll give you time to, say, hey, if you know Sally, Johnny, Jane, call them, or if, just gain more insight if you know something that's going on. The more teachers are aware of students that are out, the more they can have dialogue and, maybe get them back to school. And they also have other strategies as far as incentives for the students.
We're working on it.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
working. It's,
You're appreciated
it
too.
is a challenge, it is a challenge, and the district, they have everything in place to
Okay,
make attendance work and to make truancy work, but then there's the point where there's not a state attorney or a judge that's gonna tackle it.
Yeah, I know.
And so,
There's obstacles for sure.
Yeah.
And that pretty much sums it up for Madison County Central School. Any questions?
You've all answered the questions that I've had, that I didn't understand. I understood what you were saying, just clarify.
All right, thank you, Ms. Brown. Okay, and our final BSI school is Greenville Elementary School. If you can look on page 8, you will see the early warning system data. And once again, the school is targeting students who have attendance issues, students with suspensions, and students who have failures in both math and ELA. When we look at the ESSA subgroups for Greenville Elementary, they are Black students and free and reduced lunch students. And once again, these are students that Mr. Self and the staff there are targeting, trying to find out what interventions they need to put in place
Well, that's the
in
whole
order to
school,
help
isn't it?
those.
That's the whole school, aren't they on free and reduced lunch, the whole school?
I don't think so. I want to say
Yes,
the whole school. Okay.
Uh-huh.
I know we all get free lunch, but I don't know if it's by, it's a little bit different because at the high school.
So not everybody
Right.
is listed as free.
But Greenville, they qualify them for everything.
Okay, well, and then, and when you look at it, there is a lot of work. You want to move students. So one of the goals that they have there is to improve the number of teacher retention. The goal is to maintain 80% of faculty from the beginning of the school year to the end of the school year because they've had significant turnover. And the plan is to provide monthly staff celebrations. Also, they're doing weekly recognitions for faculty and staff. And they also have a review exit interview in which they find out when people do leave, why do they leave, to see if there's something that can be done differently to save the next person. So they are really trying a lot of new things in order to try to retain their teachers, because that was a concern for them.
Well, doesn't the district have that, when teachers are leaving?
The exit
The
interview,
exit,
yes, ma'am, with Mr. Killingsworth. But I think he said just wanted to do it more informal and at the school level. I'm not sure that exit interview when teachers leave the district and they do it with Mr. Killingsworth, if that gets back to the administrators. So that may be why,
So
you know,
maybe that's
we want.
something we would have to work on then.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, and then the next goal that they have is concerning their mathematics. Mathematics was the area that declined for Greenville Elementary more than the other areas. And the goal is to have 50% of students score 3 or higher, which is proficiency, on the FAST assessment in 2024 of May. And first of all, they're going to be monitoring the student progress through the monthly STAR assessment. And I will say, I wish he was here to tell you guys about the data and donuts that they had, in which they invited parents out to share that STAR data with them, and not just share it, but teach them how to read the reports, so that when the reports start coming home, they don't look like a foreign piece of paper and just look like a graph. But really took time to answer the questions the parents had. I was able to attend, and I know we had every bit of 35, 40 parents, so it was a very nice event, and they're also going to do it again in December. And once again, he's going to invite them out, go over the STAR data with them, so that they can have something more frequently to look at to determine if their child is growing at the rate they want them to grow. They're also using exact path and progress learning, and then also reflex math, and these are intervention pieces that are put in place in order to assist students improve in the area of math. Any questions for Greenville Elementary?
So we're doing all that for the teachers and the parents. What are we doing for the students?
For the students, as far as the data, I know they're having, the teachers are having data chats with the students. As far as incentives, they are implementing it's kind of like a lanyard STAR, right? So if they score proficiency on their STAR, then they earn a STAR, and they wear their lanyards on the day of testing. And if you have so many lanyards, you get to participate in an assembly or receive a treat.
They like the lanyards.
Thank you.
Any further questions?
Okay, all right, thank y'all.
Ms. Thomas. Mr. Brooks is back there.
Oh, Mr. Brooks, come on up, Mr. Brooks. I appreciate that. Let me get my high school. That's what you call an awesome principal. So our BSI schools, as I mentioned earlier, the school improvement plans have to go before the board, and they also have to be posted at the state level. So we do appreciate Mr. Brooks for coming out to represent the Cowboys. So we will start with let's go to his ESSER subgroups. You will find that Madison County High School right now has no ESSER subgroup, meaning none of their student subgroups are below 41%, which is amazing. So we're hoping that that trend continues on and improves. We've already submitted, presented before the school data, and I know they have some areas of concern, such as, I know the Algebra 1. I don't know if you want to tell them about what you guys are doing in Algebra 1, because that was one of the areas that they really wanted to target.
The biggest thing about Algebra 1 is finding a full-time certified Algebra 1 instructor. When I came aboard last year, we didn't have one for partly a year. One of our better ones we hired in a year is now an assistant principal for Central School, but that's how it is sometimes, it's progress. So that's the first line. The second is to make sure we have standardized conversation. Let me back up. Attendance is the next big issue. If they're not in class attending, then that's the biggest problem. No instructor, no students. That's, it's a formula for a big mess. So in order to increase student attendance, we're gonna make sure we have celebrations for attendance, perfect attendance, students with perfect attendance, students who are on the honor roll, and students who practice good behavior. We just had a celebration last Friday where about 250 qualified for both honor roll and perfect attendance. We had a lot of people, a lot of kids eat hamburgers and potato chips. But that also opens another avenue. If 250 of our kids are mastering skills, but yet we're below average in algebra, which could lead to the teaching, that promotes another question. Are we having that standardized language? Are they clearly understand what's expected and what's tested on our standardized exams? So we want to make sure we take a good look at the standard, make sure we do a lot of student-led discussions when it comes to mathematics, and that brings about the avid strategies that we're using. And one of them are Cornell notes, especially in mathematics. When you have Cornell notes in your classrooms, you can basically take the formulas down and take your strategies down and practice them when you're at home, but also practice them in small group sessions. The average initiation at our school is a big part of our fabric and our culture, because not only does it mean, advancing via individual determination and involves students who wish to attend college later on, and it gives study strategies and homework strategies for our students, but it also values those in-class strategies that promote student conversation, and that in itself promotes a better student. But the biggest thing is to get an algebra instructor on board.
Okay, Algebra 1 can be taught in the 8th grade.
But that's where we lose. A lot of our higher level kids are taking out going to 8th grade. So what we have are students who naturally struggle by the time they get there.
Because that's what I was going to ask, those who are taking it in the 8th grade.
Yep. They're going on to geometry, going on to possibly algebra 2 as well. And we usually have students who struggle, or students, that process differently. So that promotes the problem. But the biggest thing is having a, long-term instructor on board. Right now, Ms. Brown has gifted us one of her teachers for one block, first block in the morning. So that's helped us. And we also have one of our best science teachers that we shifted over from science. He's getting certified math, and he's teaching it as well.
Oh, Archimedes Williams.
Yes, ma'am. Very good.
Yeah. And also, and Mr. Replogle, that's coming from Central School, he always has an exceptional passing rates with students. So we're hoping that the students in 9th and 10th grade who are in algebra will benefit from that as well. As Mr. Brooks mentioned, one of their goals is attendance. Their student attendance was at 87.8%, which is, of course, lower than the 90 and 95% we like to see it at. So their goal is to increase student attendance to 95% or higher. He's already mentioned a couple of the things that they are putting in place in order to make that happen. But in addition, they're also going to be monitoring the attendance on a monthly basis, and then also putting forward different monthly incentives for students to attend, such as the one he just mentioned.
Okay, sounds interesting.
Was there something there about teacher attendance?
Yes, ma'am. Teacher attendance as well, we found, was an issue. People get sick. People have issues.
Right.
All of our teachers are mothers, dads as well, and we understand it. But we want to also offer them incentives for perfect attendance. I don't know if you saw it in our newsletter where Mr. Artiga won the first one. And we're also giving them incentives to have lunch on us where administrator comes in and teaches their class if you get perfect attendance for that particular course. So we want to make sure we add those in there for the teachers as well, because, instruction is a valuable part. What I said, when sometimes the data is not matching where kids are not scoring as high, but they are, on AB honor roll, we want to make sure we balance that with standardized conversations. You can't have that without, masters of the content pedagogy in the classroom and effective teaching. So that was another big issue.
Thank you.
And Mr. Brooks has already mentioned their goal concerning the issue they had with their EOC for algebra and also geometry. And one of the main strategies they're using are the AVID, and all of your teachers have been trained, right?
Teachers, they're getting monthly teaching from our AVID site team. And we started with the note-taking first, because that's very valuable, especially in math. And we also, the second strategy along is an organizational one. Every teacher in our school has a binder, and they're doing binder checks to make sure they're organized, or our students are organized. That was the biggest thing, as you know, being a former math student in college and in high school as well, organization is key. You know, organize the thought process, organize what you've learned, so it can help you be a better student.
Were they provided with a binder?
Yes, they were.
Good,
We found some
because
leftover binders.
that is a necessity.
Yes, ma'am.
But of course, if it's not reviewed and reinforced and checked, but to me, I don't know how high school students, I know I couldn't have remembered each class, what was expected, required for the next day, but I'm glad you're doing that.
Yes. And our teachers are very good with it. They've been sharing their binders with each other. And if they have their own binder, they don't make them carry another one. They go ahead and include it in the binder as one, or it may be a notebook that they can include in the binder. They've been very good to each other with that, trying to make it cohesive and unified in our school.
Yeah, keep them organized,
Yes, ma'am.
try to keep them organized, yeah.
Any more questions?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we have a motion to approve the school improvement plans?
I move to approve the school improvement plans.
We have a motion by Mr. Carroll, second.
Second.
Second by Ms. Hagan. Any discussion? All those in favor, raise your hand. Becky, 5-0. 5.9, calendar. Add November 10th as a makeup day for employees who did not report to work on September 5th. Ms. Joseph?
Okay, we function by a calendar, and our calendar dictates the number of days each set of employees work as opposed to students. Students function by hours. When the hurricane came, we were out of school for a number of days. We were out of school, actually, August 30th, August 31st, and September 1st, and some of our teachers were also out September 5th and September 6th. Okay, we've got enough days, enough hours in for the students to be forgiven, but we don't have enough, we can't forgive the days for the teachers. And so what we're gonna do, we are gonna ask the union to, change the required number of days in the contract. It has to go through the union. But we're also asking Greenville and Lee and some of our 12-month people started back on September 5th. Some of our teachers did not come back on September 5th. And so we're asking to use November 10th, which is Veterans Day, to make up that day.
Let them, okay.
And so that's only for the teachers, that's only for the people that did not come to work on September 5th.
They can come on the 10th.
And Mr. Killsworth has sent out a note, very explanatory. If they did not show up on the work on September 5th, we are asking them to work on November 10th.
Thank you, Ms. Joseph. Any questions about that? Okay. Do we have a motion to approve the calendar, adding November 10th as a makeup day for employees who did not report to work on September 5th?
Madam Chair, I move that we approve November 10th as a makeup day for teachers who did not attend school, don't have the required hours.
We have a motion by Ms. Hagan, second.
I second.
Second by Ms. Knight. Any discussion? All those in favor, raise your hand. Becky, 5-0. 5.10, contract with Division of Administrative Hearings. Ms. Joseph?
Okay. Mr. Reeves is
Mr.
going to
Reeves?
explain that for us.
The Division of Administrative Hearings is the state agency that houses the administrative law judges. And as an agency, if we have something that is under the Administrative Procedures Act, we sometimes use the administrative law judges with the Division of Administrative Hearings. We don't have anything like that pending right now, but if we do, we have to use the administrative law judges. What this contract is a contract that's required by statute that says if we do decide to use the administrative law judges, we're going to pay them, and this is the rate and all of that, and we'll pay their travel expenses. Since we're so close to Tallahassee, we don't normally have any travel expenses. We just try it at their office in Tallahassee. Now, the hourly rate they've got is $200 per hour, which is the standard hourly rate for them. So we had a contract from years ago. This contract has added to it some special language dealing with student privacy, which is, of course, important. So I don't think there's nothing special about it, anything like that, no reason not to adopt it, in my opinion.
Thank you, Mr. Reeves. Do we have a motion to approve the contract with Division of Administrative Hearings?
I move to approve the contract with the Division of Administrative Hearings.
We have a motion by Mr. Carroll, second.
Second.
Second by Ms. Hagan. Any discussion? All those in favor, raise your hand. Becky, 5-0. 5.10 Vehicle Grant, Ms. Joseph.
Okay, last year we had a driving grant for $50,000, and we,
5.11. Okay.
and you approved for us to get a vehicle, but something broke down in our way of doing things, and we never did get that vehicle. But they gave us another grant this year. This year, they gave us $52,000. And so we've looked at some vehicles because we're needing a lot of vehicles. We've got a lot of organizations and groups and instructors going different places. We need some vehicles. And so we're looking to buy a van and a Traverse, and there will be the two, I gave you $81,764. Yes, the grant is for $52,000. The remainder would come from the LCIF. And so I'm asking you permission to purchase these vehicles through the grant.
There's two of them.
Two of them.
Okay. For 80, how much?
81,764 will be the total amount, but the grant is $52,000, and we get the remainder out of LCIF. It would not come out of general fund.
And this is state contract price.
Yes, no, it's less than state contract, that's why we didn't bid it.
Okay.
And we're getting it out of case burst, out of equipment.
So we already have those at that particular price?
No, we have a quote for that. We don't have them until you approve them. We can get-
Excuse me, let me correct
Okay.
myself. We already have that quote
Quick quote.
for those two particular vans?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Do we have a motion to approve the vehicle grant, the quotes for the two vehicles?
I move to approve the quotes for the vans, the two different ones.
We have a
For the
motion by,
grants.
excuse me?
We want to be able to purchase.
And you,
Yeah.
what?
So we want to purchase the vehicles, purchase the vans and get it
Use the
from
grant and then the
other money.
other money from the LL.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Carroll, second by Ms. Hagan. Any discussion? All those in favor, raise your hand. Becky, 5-0. 5.12 FEMA Consultant Bid Award, Ms. Joseph.
Okay, at our previous meeting, right after hurricane started, we did an emergency procurement to choose a company to start using for our FEMA consultants. Okay, and that was only for a 90-day deal. Then we put out an RFA to be able to hire someone long-term. And this was a result of our, and I'm sorry to bring it to you shortly, but that RFA has strict guidelines and timelines. We were trying to get it taken care of. And so that's why it was not on the agenda earlier. But Mr. Goyette was set in on the committee, and so he can explain this to you, because we've had the sealed bids and they've gone through it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, the RFP closed on November 2nd, and then today the committee met and went through, there were 4 bids, and we ranked them and did evaluations on them, and the committee's recommending that we accept Synergy's bid. They, not only were they the lowest cost, they're the company that we've been contracting with already.
That was the question.
and they're gonna fit very well. We've been very happy with their services thus far.
So that is the people we've been talking to?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. I move, what it is?
It was a lot of information in our RFP, and Ms. Rainick is not here to go through it with you, but they are following the guidelines. A FEMA consultant is necessary for us to maneuver through this maze of getting some money back and getting over this hurricane hump. And
Okay.
so we really do need a group, and this is a group that they have chosen that apply.
Do we know how long we're gonna need them?
Ma'am, I really can't answer you that, because everyone you talk with, everyone I talk with that have been through this hurricane, it's some people still dealing with Hurricane Michael, and that's been 5 years ago.
City of Madison still is. Uh-oh. I'm sorry, Mr. Dirty. I'm sorry.
But,
Is the city of Madison still dealing with that hurricane?
Hurricane Michael.
The-
Michael's the one out in Pensacola.
In the last 5 years, I thought I heard something when I noticed their meeting that they were still dealing with getting money back from that hurricane 5 years ago.
When I leave a meeting, I just
Okay.
flush everything.
All right, any questions for Mrs. Joseph?
That I can't answer.
I think that using the ones that we've been using is the smartest move we do.
And we discussed this and we know what they're all about at the last time they presented. So I like them.
Any questions for Mr. Goyette? Do we have a motion to approve the FEMA consultant bid award?
I move to approve the FEMA consultant bid award.
We have a motion by Ms. Thompson, second.
Second.
Second by Ms. Hagan. Any discussion? All those in favor, raise your hand. Becky, 5-0. Ms. Joseph?
Okay, now we get ready to get busy, people. Okay, the first thing I want to announce is that we are having Thanksgiving lunches at school Wednesday of this week. Our dietitian sets these menus. It'll be Wednesday this week at all the schools. That's when they have their Thanksgiving meal. Okay, the next thing, I need to ask for a workshop, and I'm going to suggest Monday of next week. And it's a twofold meeting. One meeting, I've asked the insurance people, FISBIT, Emergency Advantage, to come in and tell us where they are and what the charges are, and just give us a rundown of all that. And also the second part of that meeting, it's time to review some policies. But I'm asking for this meeting on Monday, November 13th, either 5 or 6 o'clock.
How does the board feel about this? Does anyone have a problem with that time, Monday the 13th?
I don't.
I don't know yet, but that's fine with me. Majority rules.
I'd just soon do it at 5 though.
5 p.m.?
Myself,
5 o'clock's fine with me.
Okay.
if it's good with everybody else.
Ms. Bishop, you have that? So is it 5 o'clock? I need to
5 o'clock is fine.
That's November 13th?
November 13th at 5 p.m. Okay. Yeah, we've got several policies to review, Mr. Killingworth. We'll do that in the second half of that meeting.
You want me to be the second half?
No, I'm telling you, on Monday, the 13th, the first part we'll talk FISBIT insurance, second part we'll talk policies.
No problem, we only got 73 of them.
Oh, that's all.
Golly, they're growing.
Well, we better schedule for 2 or 3 different dates, hadn't we?
No, I got some more dates.
No, you don't have to condense it. We want it just like it's supposed to be. If it's 7 to 3, we need to do a good job. Just give it to us.
Okay, next thing, at our last meeting, I asked you permission to look at some ideas when we're talking about school reconfiguration. And one of the things that I would like to do, I would like to go around, do town hall meetings at each school and talk about the state of our schools. Okay, y'all wanna give me some, and this is important, and so the people will be able to have, to speak in their communities, and we won't all, and we can all be on the same accord. Hopefully, I will do a presentation and you will have, if you've got questions to do, you can feed it to me before, so we can have these questions and have the answers for the people when we get to the meeting. Hopefully, we can keep these meetings down to about an hour. I would like to meet in Greenville, Lee, and Pinetta, and possibly one in town. Suggested dates. Okay, I would like to suggest a date of November 27th. That's the Monday after the Thanksgiving.
It's all right with
Which
me.
school?
Whichever one you want.
I'm good with it.
I'm good with the 27th. Everybody good with the Monday, the 27th?
What do you want the first one?
We meet on the 28th,
Uh-huh.
Right.
So which school? It's just a matter of choosing which school we start with.
I'm asking for your input. Which one? Huh?
We could start with Pinetta if nobody will volunteer.
So what is that date?
27th.
Okay,
Ms.
November
Davis?
27th will be Pinetta.
That's gonna be at Pinetta Elementary.
Pinetta Elementary.
Okay, now, the next date that I would like to suggest, since we're trying to have these meetings before, y'all gonna kill me, but I don't care. It won't happen but one time. November 15th or 16th, the week before. No, that's the week. Ooh, that's next week.
That's next
It's next week.
Yes, we have. We've got a meeting that Monday. Let me tell you all of the days, and then y'all can talk. I'm suggesting November 27th. I'm suggesting November 15th or 16th.
Well, how many
No, wait a minute,
days
wait.
we have to advertise these things? Don't we have to advertise them?
48 hours.
Yeah.
Well, these are public meetings, and we're gonna need more than 48 hours to be fair.
Actually, we got more than we advertised tonight. There's some more than a week.
A week, yeah.
Any date I'm suggesting is more than a week away. Now, let me tell you the other ones. December 6th or 7th and December 11th. Now, if you, these are my suggestions. If you have another suggestion.
December 11th for Greenville,
December,
11th for Greenville.
and all of them will start at 5.
that sounds good to me.
Well, isn't
Okay,
that
we
a little
better start
early
it.
for parents who
We-
need to get there,
that's
who have
exactly-
jobs? I think 5 o'clock is too early for a parent who has a job to be able to get
So
there.
what time do you suggest?
I would say 6 o'clock.
6 p.m.
Okay, thank you.
6 o'clock is good.
Okay, Pinetta, 6 p.m., Miss.
And so,
You said, what was the other one in December?
Okay.
6th or 7th.
I've got December, I'm suggesting December 6th or 7th.
I cannot do the 6th.
Do the 7th.
so the 7th.
7th is
Lee?
on a Thursday.
We could do the 7th in Lee.
Okay, Lee,
Lee on the 7th, December 7th.
okay.
So the 15th will be the central school?
Yep.
Is that right?
That's
No,
a pretty,
we didn't say that yet.
Well, that's the only one left.
Oh, no, the 15th is, oh, sorry, that's December.
no,
15th.
these are my days. If y'all have another date that's different from here,
The 15th is on a Wednesday, and that's going to interrupt church, so I would say the 16th, which was another one of your dates I think you
The
threw out.
16th of November.
Wait a
I would
minute.
say the 16th.
Yeah.
And
November
that's for-
16th for the central school?
okay.
I'm asking,
That's what,
is that what was said?
yep.
Ms. Brown, does that interfere with anything that you have on your schedule?
There's basketball games going on. Let's see what's.
I mean, you're here, so speak up.
Let's Let's look at the basketball schedule.
Well, did it interfere with anything from Pinetta?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Well, I thought you had already clarified that, so I
Yeah,
apologize.
but you're asking one principal, we can ask them all.
Let's look on here and see if we have any.
It does not work?
You don't need one, do you?
That date doesn't work for Central.
You can use me at your discretion.
I was thinking that for Madison, we just have one rather than two. Now, what I have so far, November 27th at Pinetta,
Okay,
December 7th at Lee,
okay,
December 11th at Greenville.
okay.
Okay, and we're saying November 15th and 16th, both of those days need to be reconsidered. Okay. And remember, in December, we will have our last board meeting in December will be December 18th.
Okay.
And then we probably won't have another board meeting until mid-January.
You all have the calendar for the after-school activities. Ms. Brown, and whoever you all, board members who has it, after-school activities, give us a date. Look. That won't interrupt with other things that has been planned. November 14th.
We have a meeting on November 13th, people.
It's fine. I mean, we do what we gotta do.
I don't have a life, so it doesn't bother me.
It doesn't bother me.
What's that?
November 14th?
Oh, that's good.
Is that good for you, Ms. Brown?
November 14th.
I'm sorry.
So y'all want to do,
So we're gonna do it that soon?
that's a week away, a week and,
Well, notices needs to start going out from the schools right now home to parents. So the principals need to be notified.
but the district will send them out tomorrow.
And, okay, we're talking about, written notices also. District, everybody doesn't have all this stuff, this technology, so handwritten stuff needs to go out, even if you have to put it in the children's book bag. And it wouldn't be too hard for us to advertise all these dates in the paper at one time, so everybody will know. See, this is of utmost concern, and things that are utmost concern, we don't want to hide it, we don't want to rush it, we want everybody to know so that they can attend these and be very well aware of these things, so they can't say that they did not know.
I wonder if the 14th is too soon then.
Well, that's what I was thinking, the 14th is really too soon for November, for the central school.
Oh, no, that can't
And then
happen
we don't
that
want to do
night.
Thanksgiving week. Maybe we should go into December with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm supposed to be in town. The 20th.
How about Central on December 5th? Just throwing it out.
Yeah.
Basketball? Okay. The 12th? That's good?
Oh, it'll work.
Okay. Is that good with everyone, the 12th of December?
So you got Greenville on the 11th, and then
Got Greenville on the 11th,
You gotta get
Central
taken care of.
on the 12th, take Central off of the 14th of November.
So Lee is the 7th, December 7th. Greenville the 11th.
I know the 27th.
Central is the 12th, and Pinetta is November 27th. So that gives sufficient time, because the earliest one is Pinetta, November 27th. And what the day's date?
Today's the 6th,
6th.
I don't have to keep up with the dates.
3 weeks from today.
Okay,
Okay, so we,
what I had planned on doing, I'm gonna read some topics off that I want to discuss, but if you have something specific you want to discuss, and I'll even put it in my flyer to the parents if they need to send some questions in before the meeting, so we can have something organized. But I want to talk about the academic performance profile of the school, the staff at the school's instructional and support, the salaries, curriculum offerings, CTE offerings, CTE opportunities, extracurricular opportunities, FTE history and trends, and building capacity. Those are some things I want to discuss. If you have other things to discuss, send it to me and we'll work on that.
So, Mr. Reeves, what are the legalities of these meetings? And they've been held before with all of us there. What are the legalities with all of us there? Can we answer questions and all of us are there?
So, and if I'm understanding right, the point of the meeting is to get input from the public
Yes.
and all of that on possible consolidation,
Mhm.
right? Now, consolidation is a policy decision that this board will make. And so you are certainly free to request people's input. You are free to discuss it. You're free to talk about different scenarios, all of that kind of thing. The final decision that's going to be made by this board
Exactly.
is whether or not to consolidate. That will have to
But
be
I'm
done
talking
by.
about those meetings that we're
Right.
going to.
And so, yes, ma'am, that's not it's not a judicial proceeding or anything, it's a policy
So then,
decision.
so we're free to speak, all of us are free to speak and answer questions at
Absolutely.
these meetings.
You're free to do that or not do that as you see fit.
Exactly, that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
To speak or not to speak.
That's
You're
right.
free. Thank you.
So in other words, if someone say yay or nay, you're free to say, this is how I feel about it.
Absolutely.
It won't be a problem.
You're free to say that and you're free not to say
They'll
it.
either love you or hate you, so it's
That-
whatever.
Absolutely.
Okay.
This is
Just get the
absolutely.
legalities, you understand, so that
Yes, ma'am.
I don't get in trouble.
And we will
And it is-
they will be public noticed.
Okay,
And the-
thank you.
And the reason is, it is perfectly legal for you all to not consolidate. It is legal for you all to consolidate.
Yes.
That is a policy decision that you 5 board members are going to make.
Yes.
The only limitations are, as I see them, is you have to have a balanced budget. So you have to do whatever has to be done to have a balanced budget, but other than that, that's a policy decision for you 5 board members.
Okay, Madam Chair, that's all I bring before you
Okay.
tonight.
Ms. Knight?
No, I want to thank you all for coming this evening. It's always great to get presentations. Thank you, Yolanda, for your update on Pinetta. I just want to say that there's a lot of great things happening in all of the schools. We've been to a lot of great award ceremonies. The robotics team has done some amazing things, FFA. We have had the CNA program doing some great things. The band has been competing and performing very, very well. So I just want to encourage you all to get out and see what these kids are doing. Our Cowboy football team is back on track. So we are performing in many different levels, not just in our athletics. And I encourage you all, I see the volunteers pouring in, and I see the parents showing up for the program, and it just makes my heart so happy to see everybody starting to get engaged in the schools again. And I just want to encourage you guys to keep going because it means a lot to the kids. And I just encourage you to tap into some of these other programs and see all of the great things that are happening in the schools.
Thank you. Ms. Thompson?
I would like to say thank you to Mr. Murphy for being here as a citizen. Thank you, Ms. Jenkins, our FFA advisor, the president, Caleb Rains, and Vice President Leah Singletary for being here tonight and doing a wonderful job on your presentation. Thank you to Ms. Davis from Pinetta Elementary, Ms. Brown, and Mr. Brooks for all being here tonight. And I look forward to all the wonderful things that are coming up the holiday season. I've spent some time at some of the schools the past few weeks, and there's just a lot of wonderful things going on. So I'm just excited about everything that's on the horizon. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Carroll?
Well, I'm a little bit simpler. I'm just gonna thank all y'all for being here. Everybody that's here, appreciate y'all being here. I also, want to congratulate Mr. Ortega and the band for their excellent overall rating at the Sound of Gold competition in Coffee County. And there were several of our students in that band that was accepted to perform with other bands. Abigail Salterius with the Florida Honor Band, and Layla Peavy and Abigail Salterius was selected to the Big Bend Honor Jazz Band. So I want to appreciate them, appreciate what Mr. Ortega does. He does a great job with those kids. And then we had a number of our kids and receive recognition from the Florida Athletic Coaches Association. Coach Harris was the District 1A Rural Coach of the Year. And then we had
A lot of great things happening.
Jason McDaniel.
Varian Terry was first team, and Jason McDaniel, he was first team, and he was also the MVP and the District Player of the Year. Jason Anablo was first team. And then we had on defense, we had Omari and Gentle, John Christian, Octavius Hodge, Trey Gilliard, Zevion Bryant, and then there was a number of Cowboys that was titled honorable mention: Sean Williams, Rashard Miller, Jalen Cooks, Zakari Neal, Xavier Kelker, Kamari Scurry, Jorian Bell, L.J. Crumity. We'd just like to thank them. Also, the FFA, their accomplishments that they had at the National Convention is to be commended, and Ms. Jenkins does a great job with those kids and that program. It's a great program. And I want to ask one question. Does anybody know when they're going to start doing some of that work out there on the like the lights? There's a bunch of lights.
Okay,
that's turned
Monday
around.
night, that's the group we're gonna talk with about that. Okay, Ms. Gibson, may I ask him one other thing? Sure. Will you tell us about playoffs?
Playoffs. We got this week.
We got a bye.
We got a bye this week. We won't play, and then next week we will play the winner of Branford and Mayo.
At home.
At home. It'll be at
Will all
home.
these games be at home now, the playoffs?
They'll all be at home for sure until the Final Four. When it gets to the Final Four, they reseed everybody, so it could be at home.
But for now,
Right.
all of them
All
will
of
be
them
at
is
home.
Yes, ma'am.
So we don't have a game this Friday night,
Nope,
but after that, it's every Friday night you play until you
for
lose.
5 weeks, yep.
Yes.
Or
Or till you
win is a
lose.
big thing.
Right.
Yes.
One thing, technology is some kind of special, and if y'all notice out there, that little thing that's filming up in the air is, it's so different nowadays. And Josh Robinson, he runs that thing, that little drone, and films during the game time. That's the most amazing thing to me, and they get great film from that. But in Georgia, they'll shoot it down. You can't have them. You can't do it. But that's all I got.
Thank you, Mr. Carroll. Ms. Hagan?
My fellow board members have said, has covered almost everything, so I won't be repetitious. Thank you. I have nothing else to say.
Thank you, Ms. Hagan. I'd like to acknowledge Pinetta Elementary, Greenville Elementary, and Lee Elementary for their fall festivals. They were well attended, and I thank all those who participated. I know that Central will have a festival, in, I think, February, you mentioned, okay. Also, Madison Creative Arts. I met with the legislatures in Lafayette County because I was unable to meet with them in Madison. So I went over there. I felt like it was important to speak to them, and I did speak to Representative Schoaf and Senator Simon regarding underfunded mandates. We actually had a private meeting after their meeting. Pinetta participated in a MIC teacher event at McDonald's the other night, and a portion of the sales will go to different,
Our school, between 5 and 7, we raised $1,722.48.
Amazing.
Excuse me. What percentage of that do you get?
Well, she said they'll let us know they're gonna do a big presentation. She emailed me.
And what
that.
y'all gonna do with that money?
Well, we're hoping to possibly get playground equipment or spend it on our kids.
Okay.
Then it'll go back to the kids.
thank you for that information, Ms. Davis. This past Friday, I attended Madison County High School where there was a wonderful awards day. Many parents attended, and thank you, Mr. Brooks, for what you're doing there. This coming Thursday, there'll be various Veterans Day programs beginning at 9 o'clock. Beginning tomorrow, I'm going to be teaching a short lesson regarding veterans in different classes in the different schools. I want to acknowledge and thank our resource officer who's with us tonight, Officer Greg Ray, and the Madison County Sheriff's Department. I appreciate what Ms. Jenkins does with her FFA and what they've done and what they've accomplished this year. I'd like to thank the principals for attending tonight. Again, Mr. Artiga for his band. We're lucky to have him. And thank you all, and to all a good night.
Can I say one thing?
Yes.
If I can, and this isn't a legal requirement, but just a suggestion, on the notices y'all do for those meetings, you probably want one notice that's got all the meetings on one notice at every place, because remember, just because you're holding a meeting in Lee, for instance, doesn't mean just the folks in Lee show up. Everybody in the whole county is allowed to come to all the meetings.
Yeah.
So you said put all the meetings on one sheet?
On one sheet of
Okay.
paper.
We'll
And
do
then
that.
the other thing is, if the point of these meetings ultimately is to talk about possible consolidation, I would use the word consolidation on the notice. I would say this is to discuss a possible consolidation. The point is this, what the good that comes out of these meetings is that whatever decision y'all make, nobody can say they weren't given the opportunity to come talk about it and express their views. If you don't actually use the word consolidation on the notice, you're going to lose that benefit. And if somebody's mad, they're going to show up mad. They're going to show up mad anyway. You're not helping yourself by not doing that. So those are my only two suggestions on that notice.
And let me apologize for overlooking you.
It's fine. Thank you. Don't worry about it.
Thank you, Mr. Reeves. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
Oh, we have a motion by Ms. Knight. All in favor, raise your hand.
We've got an expulsion.